Hello, my name is Kyle Seti, and this is the final update for now of my level design for Fallout 4 level based on Lizzie Borden's house. Um, what I worked on this week was putting the final fight in the game, putting a ghoul Lizzie in the shed that you'd fight, final set dressing, a feel and a polish pass, and some bug fixing and tweaking, and then just some final play testing and finishing up the level. And the last thing to do is I do want to come back and eventually publish it as a mod pack. I need to research a bit how to do that and how to make sure that everything's tight and I don't leave any loose objects and stuff like that. But yeah, eventually I want to publish it so you can download it. Um, to start, just wanted to show where my paper map began. This was what I designed the level to be. It didn't quite turn out like this for a few reasons. I ended up having to flip a lot of the design and reverse it, but yeah, it ended up working out. So you can compare that to how it looks in the final level. And again, this was the initial plan. In the game, you start out. This is Concord is one of the first towns that you come to after starting Fallout 4. So if you were to have this mod or this level in your game and start, you would approach this town in this area about 1 hour into the game. I think I started to play through them, and about 50 minutes in, I was being told to come to Concord and walk past this area. So it's right after you get to the Red Rocket truck stop, and you get Dogmeat the dog as a companion. Right after that, a player would run into here. So typically around then, you're really low level, around level 1 or level 2. Um, and yeah, this is that area in the game. So you wouldn't have really much equipment yet, a pistol, maybe a pipe pistol and 10 millimeter and some ammo, something like that, a pipe wrench and a few things. So there's not too much of a combat challenge in this dungeon, and not too much of big rewards because it's needed to balance for the early game. This is what it looked like before, and this is after. So that's where I built the house. That's the location. The shed got moved a little bit, but everything else is pretty much right where I planned it to be. Yeah, you can just see an example there of what it looks like before and after. And I will jump right in. Hello, my name is Kyle Seti, and yeah, to the game and just demonstrate going through the level. So, yep, we've come here, level about 2. I have a gun. Yep, we just discovered Concords. This is right at the entrance before we even meet Preston and the Minutemen and everything like that. So I put this sign here just to sort of guide the player to, like, come check this out. There's a cool area over here. I also included this little magazine, but I might take that out if I publish it as a final mod. So coming here, I did pretty much build the whole house with the house kit that is in the creation kit. So you can set room pieces and adjust them and stuff like that. But almost everything was placed completely by hand here. I've got the front entryway. It's a little hard to see, a little nod. There's an axe here in the front. It's Lizzie's axe. Now, according to the story, she used a hatchet, but the only axe model in the game is Grognak's Barbarian axe. So I just copied that for now. I had the option of maybe putting in a mod pack with a hatchet, but then that would require a dependency if you were ever to download this mod, so I didn't want to do that. But here's a little nod to the story with the nursery rhyme. Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Just as a little tease as to what might be happening in this area. So we open the door and we approach the first room, which is the sitting room with the fireplace. And this is where the first murder happened. So we can immediately see a dead body over here on the side, on the couch. This is where the father was murdered in the head with an axe. And our story here is that there was a sheriff, a police officer that was assigned to investigate the murder case. So we're going to follow his sort of detective case files here. So, sat down, here's his militia hat and patrolman sunglasses, and we start with case file page 0. I'm a little nervous to be working this case. The entire Concord police force is on their annual police excursion today at Nuka Coco World. A side note, that's actually true, that the police force was on their annual excursion day to the local theme park, and when the phone was called for the murder, only one police officer was sent to investigate. So that's this guy's story. I've only been on the force for 2 weeks and had to stay in Concord because I'm the rookie. This is a grisly murder and I'm the only cop available. I hope I don't mess up. Should I have worn gloves? It's probably not important. Lucky for me, the Borden's doctor is here and he's helping me clean up and throw away things important to the murders. unimportant to the murders. I do think the doctor giving Lizzie jet to calm her hysteria is going to make questioning her a little difficult. Maybe we'll do the interrogation in the shed away from the bodies and the blood. That should put Lizzie at ease. It's another detail that the doctor was there that day and they were giving Lizzie morphine to calm down. In the game I used jet. It's a thematic drug that the characters would take. And it's a little hard to find, but hidden here is a nursery rhyme part 2, which continues on. Andrew Borden now is dead. Lizzie hit him on the head. So I don't immediately accuse Lizzie. It's up to the player to sort of put some of the pieces of this murder together. And, there's notes towards it being her and notes towards maybe it's not. So we'll kind of go through. Here's the first victim, male, age 70, cause of death, an axe wound to the head, discovered by daughter Lizzie on the sitting room sofa. Notes by the officer, my God, the brutality of this murder is something I've not witnessed in my entire 2-week career as a police officer. Andrew appears to have been laying down for a nap when he was attacked. I don't see any defense wounds, but his face will haunt my dreams. His face is nothing but a pulp of chipped bone and razored flesh. His eye has been split in two. A gap about 2 inches wide in Andrew's skull was made. I assume the missing bone has been forced into his brain from the severity of this attack. His head looks like raw meat. He's still bleeding as I write this, so the killer must be nearby. Those are all real details from the case. So we move on and we investigate. I did all the set dressing myself, again placing all of the items and objects and using some of the debris packets to sort of put in some feel that it's been hundreds of years since this house has been used. It's the post-apocalypse, and maybe some of the raiders have been through here, etc. So we continue the case, and on this staircase we stop and we have page 2 of the case files. Another body. I've been here for 45 minutes questioning Lizzie and evaluating the body of her father Andrew when the Borden's maid Bridget mentioned not seeing Abby the mother-in-law in some time. We began searching the house, and then we found it. As we rose the stairwell across the landing at eye level, we could see the body of Abby Borden on the bedroom. Oops. No, go back. Anywho, as you turn your eye here, you can see this is the scene that they saw when they found the second body of the murder, which is the mother-in-law, Abby. Coming up here in this initial bedroom, this door is barred. We can't go that way, so we can kind of explore, find a few things, but the player is forced to go through here to the first bedroom, across the landing, which is where the second body was found. So as we approach, we have Detective's Case Files, page 3. Victim 2, female, age 64, cause of death, axe wound to the back of the head. Abby's body looks like it's been here for a while. Her skin is cold to the touch and her blood has soaked onto the carpet she's laying on. She was killed first. The killer must have an iron stomach. Abby has an axe wound to her face and multiple axe wounds to the back of her head. It appears she was facing her killer, who struck her, knocked her to the floor, and continued their brutal rampage on her head. Neither Lizzie nor her maid Bridget heard a thing all morning. How do you not hear a woman scream for help? I wonder if Abby knew her killer and did not cry out for help before it was too late. And again, hard to find. Hidden is a nursery rhyme here. Up in heaven he will sing, on the gallows she will swing, which concludes the old nursery rhyme for the Lizzie Borden story. A note that the mother, Abby, was actually a mother-in-law. Lizzie's original mother had passed away, and her father had remarried stepmother, sorry. Moving along from that murder, we can explore the house. There's another room here, just a baby room. This is the bookshelf here, which is why the door was barred. Again, just adding some set dressing to this area. We'll come around here and first check out the rest of the first floor. We have a bathroom here and this kitchen as well. I can maneuver around, explore, and we find page 4 of the Detective's Case Files. Abby Borden was suspicious that she and Andrew were being poisoned. This is again a true detail from the case. On the stove in the kitchen was some food. Leftover food was causing everyone to vomit except Lizzie. Abby asked her doctor to test her for poisoning days before her murder, but he suggested throwing out the food instead. The family cooked new food, and again, all were sick with vomiting, except Lizzie Borden. Note, Lizzie told her father that their milk was poisoned the night before the murders. How would she even known that? Yeah, so some more hints at, what might have been happening to the family at the time. All details taken from the case. And we move along here. Again, we come to this bathroom area and exploring. We find page 5 of the case files. This is where the detective sort of takes a minute to assess everything he's seen so far and sort of think about what's happening and what it would take, to believe if Lizzie had done these murders or not. So I needed a minute to compose myself. I'm not sure I'm cut out for this job. I'm the only police officer on the scene, so I only have myself to talk to about the utter insanity of this case. I'm constructing a timeline to make as much sense out of this as possible, but with Lizzie on jet, getting a straight answer out of her has been difficult. I can't believe Lizzie would be capable of this. A young woman, a Sunday school teacher who often did charity work and didn't drink a sip of alcohol, is a murderer? To believe she's innocent means I must believe the following. An intruder had to enter the home unseen. The intruder murdered Abby in a violent manner without any loud noises or attracting the attention of the two women who lived here in a small house. Abby's body was laying in the home for 1 to 2 hours unnoticed. The intruder remained in the house between both murders, unseen or heard. The intruders killed Andrew with the same amount of violence without attracting the attention of Lizzie or the maid Bridget. The intruder left the house, probably covered in blood, carrying a weapon, unseen again. Is this series of events even possible? So we sort of sit and task the player here to think about the series of events that would have had to have happened, and again, how impossible it seems. So here we come to the dining room area. And again, we can see the detective has kind of been sitting down here and trying to figure things out. This case makes no sense. In order to believe that Lizzie is guilty of murdering both her father and her stepmother, a series of unbelievable events had to have occurred. Lizzie would be covered in blood, and what I can assume would be brain matter. She has not a speck of blood on her. No blood in her hair, on her clothes, or her shoes, and none of her... Yeah, did it again, here we go. Inventory. Miscellaneous. Page 6. And none of her dresses in her closet have blood on them either. The maid Bridget has been in and out of the Borden home all morning, doing chores. She never saw Lizzie with bloody clothes or freshly washed hair at any point between either murder. Lizzie discovered her father's body within 15 minutes of his arrival home. If she had murdered him 15 minutes after Bridget saw him, Lizzie would be covered in blood, or at least have some remnants in her hair or on her clothes. Would Lizzie risk killing her father and stepmother with another witness in the home? I'm struggling to find a motive. From what Lizzie has told me, she was very fond of her father and seemed extremely distraught before her doctor gave her jet. No matter how I look at this case, it seems impossible the murders were done by anyone but Lizzie. At the same time, it doesn't seem like she would have enough time to clean up and not be seen or heard by her maid. And where is the murder weapon? So again, tasks the player with thinking about all the facts in the case and how it sort of just seems impossible. Who could have done it? How could it have happened? So as we're walking through, the story sort of comes to a conclusion. We're like a climax up here in the Borden's parents' home. There's a few things we can find in here. Firstly, you'll see page 7 of the detective's case files, where he kind of sits down and just writes a timeline of events. This is something a detective does. In order to maintain some understanding of the case, I'm going to write out a timeline of events that happened starting from this morning, gathered from Lizzie and her maid Bridget. 7 a.m., Abby and Andrew have breakfast. Abby begins doing housework. 9 a.m., Lizzie has breakfast. Andrew leaves the home on a chore Lizzie asked him to do. 9:30 a.m., Abby is seen going upstairs to clean. It is the last time she is seen alive. Bridget begins cleaning outside windows. Abby is killed at some point around this time. 11 a.m., Andrew returns home but is locked out. Bridget lets him in and hears giggling coming from upstairs. Lizzie tells Andrew that Abby has left a note saying she's not at home. Andrew lies down on the sofa for a nap. Bridget goes to her room to lie down as well. Andrew is murdered at this time. Lizzie calls Bridget, telling her that Andrew has been attacked. Lizzie says she was in the shed out back when she heard a noise and came in to find her father dead. Police were called shortly after. Now I have been trying to talk with Lizzie, but she speaks in a detached manner and keeps correcting me that Abby is not her mother, but her stepmother. I'm not sure I like Lizzie. Under the circumstances, she doesn't act in a manner that suits me, to say the least. I found a will in Andrew and Abby's room, and I have a few more questions for Lizzie. So this sort of hints at where the story's going here. If you search, you will find the will in Andrew's room, which is sort of, again, a clue as to some motive, a potential motive, if Lizzie did do the murder. The will of Andrew Borden, I, Andrew Borden, being of competent and sound mind, do hereby declare this to be my last will and testament. At this time I am married to Abby Borden, and I have 2 children, Emma and Lizzie. I bequeath my home to my wife, Abby Borden, at the time of my death. Addendum. In the instance of Abby Borden's death, the house will be granted to the children, Emma and Lizzie Borden. Signed, Andrew Borden. Witnessed by Abby Borden, Lizzie Borden, Emma Borden. And on the back is a listing of the Borden family to sort of just lay everything out and help the player understand. There's the father, Andrew Borden, the stepmother, Abby Borden, the daughter, Emma Borden, daughter, Lizzie Borden, and the maid, Bridget Sullivan. There's also a note that Emma Borden, the sister, wasn't at the house the night of the murder or the morning because she was on travel at a friend's house, which is a little weird, but we continue here and we see Andrew's dresser, which we can unlock with rank 0 lockpicking. If you just started the game, you don't have to put any perk points in to be able to complete this level.
Nice.
And we find the Borden shed key. This will take us out back where the final sort of staged area is. If you tried to enter the shed earlier before this point, it is locked and you must have the key to get in. There's no way to lockpick it. So another note about this back door, it's also locked. Someone could come back and unlock this and enter the house through here. This is sort of the secondary approach to the level, is entering through the back and sort of piecing together what happened from a different approach. But back here's where the shed is, so I'm going to exit this way as well.
Yes.
And there we go again, decorating the back and everything with all these fabricated parts and unique parts. Also, it's hard to see, but there is in fact a bobby pin here on the back if you were to approach and try to pick this lock. You know, if you were out of lock picks, there's one there for you. So around the back of the house, we come to the shed. So again, this shed door is locked, Borden shed key. So you'd have to go through the house and make it up to the top. And then find it in his dresser drawer to come out here and finish the level. So we've unlocked the door and we come inside to the garage where, oh no, Ghoul Lizzie is here. And you can see there's an interrogation scene that's happened. The detective, hello. Ah, and she's got an axe. Oh gosh. Oh, wow, she actually killed me. Lizzie's tough. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Ghoul Lizzie attacks from the shed. She does level with the player, so she should be about the same level that you are when you encounter her. And yeah, she attacks you with her axe, of course. There you go. Once you've killed Lizzie, you can loot her, and you can loot her axe. I know there's 2 copies in the game, but I kind of like having both. And then her outfit's also available, so you can take it, and you can even put it on. Yeah, just showing off the final stage scene in the shed. Ghoul Lizzie spawns back here once the player enters the door. There's a trigger box. I had issues when she was present before the player would open the door, where she would kind of see where the player was walking around in aggro and you would be in combat while you were on the other side of the wall, which was just awkward. So I fixed that by despawning her and then putting a trigger box to spawn her once the player enters the shed area. But yeah, there's a few details here. There's the detective or the police officer who was interrogating here. There's a pair of handcuffs to show that. There's also some jet to show that Lizzie was like taking drugs at the time. And yeah, there's a final chest here, Lizzie's toolbox, which has a few detailed items that were actually found on Lizzie at the time of the murder, which was some money, Abby's gold pocket watch, which is interesting. She had her stepmother's pocket watch on her. And some money, some pre-war money, about $80 worth was found in her like chest. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the final scene and the final little boss fight there to finish it out. Yeah, I'll just show what it's like to sort of put on. Here we go, Lizzie's axe and Lizzie's outfit. There we go. And off we are. So thanks for watching. Yeah,